Oh, I'm finally freed.
Who are you?
I'm Magical Genie of Metroidvanias.
Oddly specific.
Of course I'm trustworthy. I'll grant you one Metroidvania, a wish for freeing me from my prison, slumber.
Also oddly specific.
Well, I guess I'd want a new game with a cool, unique power-up system and ways to traverse and do combat with special abilities and creatively travel along the map, which should also be really colorful and beautifully animated and, oh, of course, with an amazing soundtrack. With all that together, the game would just be incredible.
We'll see about that.
What?
Wish granted, fool!
And so Ori and the Blind Forest came into being. Just look how incredible it is, and verbatim what you wished for, Bomb. Oh, come on now. Beautiful artwork, incredible music, creative, unique gameplay.
That was a monkey's paw wish, and you know it.
Oh, come on now. All I did was give you what you wanted. What kind of a despicable genie are you anyway? Coming out of a giant harmonica. No, that's a... Oh my god. Now, just try to keep your composure for a minute to talk about everything cool about the gameplay in Ori. I know you can. It is pretty good, all things considered. I just personally had a pretty bad time with it. Ori and the Blind Forest is a mid to small size Metroidvania where you'll be exploring and fighting your way around the map, collecting pickups and gaining new abilities to unlock more of the map. You don't conventionally attack, but instead have this little glowy spirit ball thing that follows you around and shoots other little glowy spirit ball things at enemies near your vicinity. So you just kind of helplessly run into danger, mash a button, and then dodge the danger you just jumped into. Aside from just making Ori feel frustratingly weak, this can get really annoying as this attack automatically chooses what to target when you fire, frequently choosing faraway threats before the nearby ones against its better judgment, getting you hurt for no reason. Defeating enemies nets you experience to spend on bonus upgrades not necessary for completion, but sure do freaking help as you start out pretty darn frail and can't jump for crap, but end up nimble and overpowered over time with enough health and soul orbs and crazy platforming skills acquired to outright subvert a tremendous amount of the level design. The difficulty curve is pretty laughable as this game only gets easier over time, outside of the timed escape sequences that'll kill you instantly if you don't perform the exact convoluted series of platforming segments to dodge a bunch of scripted beginner's traps because that's fun. Unfortunately, those segments are the closest thing we have to boss fights in this game. Yes, it's seriously just about platforming, collecting, and backtracking with zero bosses or notable enemy encounters whatsoever. And I gotta say that's pretty disappointing for any Metroidvania. So you'd hope that the level design and traversal would feel great to compensate, but this department might honestly be the worst offender in the entire game.
Here we go.
Platforming in Ori sucks. Mario games do so well because of how good the controls are and how well Mario responds to your inputs. Ori jumps really far laterally, but barely gets any vertical distance at all, even with the triple jump. This, aside from having long, fluid animations, inadvertently gives way to slippery, unwieldy controls and will cause most of your deaths. And trust me, you will die a lot in this game. There are a discouraging amount of platforms you'd think you could reach, but Ori just couldn't be bothered to put in any effort into jumping high enough. Some of the time you're not intended to make these jumps, but far too often you are, leaving you finagling the slippery physics and barely making dozens of jumps by the absolute skin of your teeth just to progress. What I thought to be sequence breaking the game turned out to be normal intended gameplay. But even more infuriating is the art being at odds with the gameplay. We mentioned Ori's wonky delayed controls, but when you can't tell if hazards and platforms are in the foreground, background, or right in your freaking way, that's just bad design. Rayman is another artsy yet challenging platformer series, and yet I never even once had this problem of properly perceiving what is and what is not interactable in any of those games. so it certainly can be done. I know these problems don't sound like they're a big deal, but when they happen constantly and result in you accidentally dying, it does nothing but piss you off more and more each time it happens, and it happens a lot. Fortunately, you can save almost anywhere by spending spirit orb charges that you can get from these blue refill crystal things. And you can also use these charges for ability attacks like the Charge Flame and the Light Burst, which you'll basically only use in unlocking pathways to traverse and not at all in combat because there's no boss fights. And even regular enemies are just not worth the effort or sacrificing a save for killing slightly faster. Spoiler, he doesn't like this game. I don't like this game! But it sure is pretty. Bummer the foreground-background problem is so prevalent that it completely soils the already average level design. Each area is so beautiful and full of color. Even the animations are smooth and gorgeous. But when your animations and art style take this much priority, sure, the game will look amazing to watch, but the gameplay itself begins to suffer the more the art takes the wheel, with lengthy animations and confusing hit and hurt boxes, alongside the occasional losing your character on screen due to some horrible teleporting puzzles or having Ori stupidly grabbing hold of a spiky wall, hiding his sprite, and killing him. We talked about the gameplay already, just say that the game looks pretty. Fine! It looks great. Except that map is pretty confusing. That's probably as good as it's gonna get. The game's opening is surprisingly cinematic and well done, albeit agonizingly slow. It feels like watching something out of Studio Ghibli, which is certainly a good thing. After a cute scene where Ori and Naru, and overweight No-Face from Spirited Away, are bonding over building a bridge and sharing fruit, the entire forest dries up and Ori finds Naru dead. Nice and morbid, but you can't make me believe this lumpy chungus actually starved to death. I mean, come on. So next, a big glowy tree calls a party or something for all of Ori kind, which pisses off a giant owl who was probably just trying to sleep. So it steals their talking glowy disco ball thing, which in turn elementally throws the entire forest out of whack. I'm not trying to be funny here, that's legit what happens. Ori finds Sign, the talking ball thing from earlier, who tells Ori to find the 3 other glowy ball things to fix stuff, before returning Sign to the big tree as the party must go on. And that's pretty much all you get before the ending. Most Metroidvanias have simple and subtle storytelling, so it's fine, I guess. Until you reach that totally unfine ending. Hold up. For those of you who actually care, we'd better provide a spoiler skip, even though this story, honestly, doesn't even deserve that. But I still think discussing it is pretty important so players can properly curb their expectations. So you're collecting the 3 elemental spirit balls or whatever, and returning Sign to the giant tree, right? Well, all you get upon finding one of these glowy balls, which, let me remind you, aren't even guarded by bosses or anything, is an escape sequence running through an annoying beginner's trap heavy segment and nothing else. All 3 times. Now, before he takes this where I know he will, just remember how this game clearly set up the find 3 things and do the 4th thing trope, kind of like how most Zelda games do it. So when even those most basic of expectations are not met, especially when they're established by the game itself, I might add, it is disappointing at the very least. Yeah, so after finding the 3rd glowy ball thing and fulfilling the obligatory escape routine, the game just ends. And not with a to be continued kind of thing, it just ends. Basically, Giant Owl Dude has a change of heart after nearly killing Ori and brings Sign to the tree itself. And completely robs you not only of your anticipated final, or rather, only boss fight, but also the anticipated final stretch of the game. For as short as this game already is, anticlimactic doesn't even begin to express how disappointing this omission feels. If it's any consolation, the giant owl saw Naru, who magically came back to life with the help of a walking blueberry man, and Naru's care toward the wounded Ori, which reminded it of its own deceased babies destroyed by the light of the tree's magical rave party. So it decided to kill itself because it felt empathy for 2 seconds after spending the entire game maliciously hunting Ori down like a feral pit bull? Sorry, I'm not buying that crap for 1 second. Did you honestly play this for the story anyway? No! That's why it's so incredible that it actually subverted my non-existent expectations. Hey, at least the soundtrack is really nice.
You mean the one main theme that just keeps getting reused and remixed a million times between all the forgettable ambient tracks?
The game sounds great, just give it this one thing. I dare you to hum anything other than the main theme and prove me wrong.
Just be happy! You're freaking me out, Mr. Positive Gamer!
Have you already played and enjoyed Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Hollow Knight, Blasphemous, Axiom Verge, Bloodstained, The Messenger, Delit and Wonder Labyrinth, Salt and Sanctuary, Shadow Complex, Shantae, Vigil, The Longest Night, Inmost, Mo Astray, Ender Lilies, and every single Metroid game but just need more? Then you might as well settle for less and try Ori.
I swear this is not a bad game.
If you play video games just for the bright, colorful lights and pretty sounds, then Ori and the Blind Forest was made specifically for your lack of taste.
Savage!
Is it though? I lost count of all the times you blatantly cursed the developers in your Let's Play series because of bad game design.
The animation's beautiful, but the controls are really sucky. You can't really do precise platforming and things like that when your character is this unresponsive. That's a progression thing. That shouldn't be in here. You shouldn't actually give the player upgrades that will allow them to traverse into new locales just through level up. Ever. Yeah, that's not good game design. We're apparently trapped again. Yeah, this is not possible at the moment. Oh, I don't know why I got it, but I got it. Now, if this was supposed to happen, that is straight up bad game design. You guys actually think I'm going the right way? So that was required? Oh my god. Who the heck play tested that? And now we're, get off the wall! Game, you controls, they suck some days. And today is that day. It's really not the fact that the character isn't jumping that high, it's the fact that the developers made it required for you to try and get up really high when your gameplay character that they designed for you just can't do it. Or can't do it without a lot of frustrating platform jumps. Now you go in there. Where am I? Where the heck am I on screen? Oh god. Oh god, that part is trash. It is utter trash. They all kind of look the same to me. Where's the zoom? That's not helpful at all. It looks pretty, but that's not helpful as a map. Where did I go? I don't play many games where I often as this one have to keep saying, where did I go? I'm gonna get it. No! Oh, come on! Come on, let me skip this. Oh my, okay. I couldn't see that. That kind of crap. The game is 100% guilty of lots of that kind of crap. Everything is getting all whoop. Oh, that's in the foreground. Also, should never be something you ever say. God, he's the worst jumper in any platform game I've ever played. Whee! Oh, why do you encourage me to jump in stuff all the time off the map? Except this time, it's actually gonna kill me. Go around here. What the heck? No! Like, I have to go through that whole segment, and then it drops the ceiling on you, and there's no way out? Nobody ever sees something like that, and they're like, oh, that sure made the game fun. I want to hug the developers, and then just punch them in the face. That is a trap. That's a beginner's trap. Once again, no one ever. And it was at the end? Are you kidding me? No one ever is gonna tell you that that's good and fun game design. Whoa, why would you design it like that? God, I hate these designers. I want to slap these people in the face. God, they do awful, 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 awful things. Like there was something coming out of the wall. It looked like a hidden secret because it was using the same type of wood textures as the platforms and the pillars that I smash. But instead, it's hidden behind the things that are the spikes in the background or the foreground, whichever, I don't even know. Regardless, those were hurting me because I was not actually supposed to be touching that thing, it was just decoration. Bad game design. Bad's not even a strong enough word. Garbage game design. Never do that. To use this ability, hold left trigger until fully charged. Which, is that L1 or L2? Just tell me based on that design.
UI doesn't even make sense. God.
Come on, give me one, give me one. Oh my god. I want to find one of these developers and punch them in the jaw, leaving my escape purely to RNG. I hate you. RNG killed me before. Stupid. That's it? Oh, I got robbed of a boss fight. That sucks. That's still bad game design. This is bad game design. Which you can watch in my complete live stream series, shameless plug?
Shameless indeed.
The positive gamer in me personally finds Ori and the Blind Forest to range from an average to a dismal experience, giving it a 4 out of 10. The game has some serious problems that tend to get overlooked due to its flashy art style, and if you enjoyed it, then you should be excited, because there are dozens of other amazing games that do this genre even better. And as a positive gamer, that's the extent of the good that I can find in even the most disappointing of games. The critical gamer in me sees Ori and the Blind Forest as an amazing art project that just fell short in some regards, giving it an above average 6 out of 10. The game itself is fine enough outside of the abundance of lazily designed beginner's traps, but disappoints me on a structural level due to how much better other Metroidvanias are, especially when utilizing so much less into becoming so much more. But what do you think? Tell us how your positive and critical sides rate Ori and the Blind Forest in the comments below. But if you think graphics are everything in a video game, then you're just playing with yourself. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate future episodes. Thank you to our Patreon members Atomic Thomas, Cameron, Arrow, Ben, Rowan, Erica, Shyam, Sid, and Squad Fam. Booyah!